I'm new to trying to figure all this stuff out too, so I'm always goofing it up.
Oh, you do so good.
No. Well, okay. So I thank you for being here because maybe I've even said this to you, but I've kind of joked a couple times, and I know Brandon and I have said it, but I'm like, I just need to make Annie do videos with me all the time. And then whenever
Oh,
I'm having a hard day, I'll just watch those and I'll feel all better.
oh,
Because
Heidi.
I honestly, you are probably the most encouraging human being I know in my entire life. And I absolutely mean that. You are. I'm just gonna totally pump you up here because I can't tell you how many times, even Brandon, you've sent a message and he goes, you have to come read this to me because I'm just gonna cry. I'm not gonna be able to get through it because she just makes me so happy.
Oh
Because you are just one
gosh.
of the most loving, encouraging human beings literally I think I've ever met in my entire life. You truly, truly are. And I'm just so thankful that the Lord even like crossed our paths and I get to call you a friend. It just, I'm so truly thankful. And I wish I could hug you right now, but
Oh,
know that
me
that's what I'm
too.
doing.
Oh, Heidi, I am so humbled and so touched that you would even think those things in relation to me because, you know, as human beings, our flesh doesn't allow us to feel like we're good or that we're worthy. And then when someone shares, especially someone that you love and admire, like I do for you and Brandon, to share such kind thoughts means so much, means so much. So thank you so much.
No, I don't know. You really have been such an encouragement, I know, to me in so many different ways and getting to know you and so many things. And that's where when I was kind of thinking about it and I was like, you know what? For this month, I don't feel like I have anything worth sharing. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Oh,
think if I have
yeah.
any, whatever. And it kind of be Mother's Day, all that made me think about that. And I was like, there's some really special moms that I know in my life that have amazing wisdom. And honestly, you were the first person that popped into my mind because I'm like, if we could just if I could be a mom like Annie, I think
Oh my
that would just
gosh.
like, those are my mom goals is to be a
Oh,
mom like Annie.
Heidi.
I'm dead
Oh,
serious. I'm dead serious. And so I was like, you know what? I think if I was like, I know coming on and doing videos isn't your favorite thing, but
yeah.
if you would come on, I know I'm making everybody uncomfortable and I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable, but
Oh,
if you would come on and chat with me, that would just be so awesome because I know that not only am I totally enjoying this, just getting an opportunity to hang out and chat and visit is fun
yes,
for us, but
yes.
I know that there's going to be so much in this that will be a blessing to so many other moms. And I know you have such a heart to serve the Lord. And so it all just works together, I think.
It does. Oh, this has just truly made my day. Just getting to be with
Oh,
you, because you know my heart that I'm so shy, and this is not something I normally do. But I was like, I just love Heidi so much. I have to do it for her. You ask anything of me, and I will say yes.
oh my goodness, you're just so sweet. So I thought if you want to go ahead and maybe start us off, just introduce yourself and
Okay.
who you are, and then I know I have a couple questions that I do want to ask you, but then I'm sure honestly we'll just come up with things we want to talk about because that's how that
Yes.
goes. But go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Annie, and my husband Todd and I have been so blessed with nine beautiful babies. We have six that are still here with us, and three that we had two lost to stillbirth and one miscarriage after our youngest baby. So we have ages 22 all the way down to 8 years old. And we've been homeschooling for, let's see, our golly, I don't even know how long. Let's see.
Isn't it funny when you try to figure that out? Sometimes I'm like, gosh, I don't know, forever.
Yes. And so I'm thinking, okay, Gagey's 12 and I started homeschooling when he was a baby. So at least like 10 years, I guess.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. But oh golly. Yeah, I don't know much. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. I love people, even though I'm shy. I love to be around people. I just love to make people happy. I love animals. I love caring for things. I love flowers and baking and
like everything that's just wholesome and amazing is you. You're just like little like I feel like every day, like every week I need one day that's just like Annie Day, and we'll just come out and everything will be perfect and so lovely. And I just think that would be so awesome. So we need to move our states closer together so we can just do that every week.
Yes, I was just texting my brother because my brother lives in Chattanooga and I already figured out it's not too far from you.
Oh, there we go.
I said, John, I have to find Todd a job at least somewhere close so I can see you.
How fun would that be? Oh my goodness.
Gosh. Oh, it would be such a blessing.
I know. And that's where, sometimes it can be such a bummer because, especially with all of us, we're also spread out. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay, because that's the amazing part of being brothers and sisters in Christ. And we have eternity to do all of the fun things. And I just cannot wait. I mean, I want to do stuff now, but I'll take eternity if I have to.
Yes.
So for you, were you one of those girls that, always wanted to be a mom, look forward to being a mom? How old were you when you became a mom? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I always, as long as I can remember, wanted to be a mama, wanted everything to do with being a mama. I adored being pregnant. It's truly one of the only times I feel beautiful is when I'm pregnant. And I just always wanted to just care for my babies, be home with my babies. I wasn't able to, right, at first. I had, let's see, Todd was working while I was still in college. So I became a mama when I was 20 years old when I got pregnant with our first. And then, so I was still in college and Todd worked at the movie theater so that I could go to school and he would watch Gracie and then we would flip-flop.
Did you know that Brandon worked at a movie theater when him and I got together?
Yes!
He worked at our movie theater in town for like 1 million years. Like that's what he did all through. That's so funny.
When y'all said that, I was like, oh my gosh. And even to this day, Todd is like, if I could just have that job again. He goes, I love working there.
Brandon, like he will do that. We have a little theater that opened in our little town and he's like, I just want to go check it out. And he's always said that we have a really old movie theater on like our main street that was built in like the 1920s. It's super Art Deco style. And it was up for sale for a while. Like it's been gutted now, but it was up for sale. And he's always, did you ever watch that movie, The Majestic? So Brandon's, ever since that movie came out, he's always been like, if I could find an old theater and fix it up, like that's like his dreamland.
It's so fun. Fun. He would bring me home big giant Slurpees because I was pregnant and just wanted Slurpees. It was so great. Yes. So that's when I became a mama and was so excited, even though we were young. We also were not married when we found out we were pregnant with Maddie. So it was very, very scary. Scary what family would say. I went to a private Christian school, so scared what everyone would say. But other than that, I was beyond like so overjoyed. And I tend to not always think with my brain, I think with my heart. So I don't worry about things that I probably should worry about. that, and it drives Todd crazy because everything's gonna be okay. And but I think in some ways it's a good way to live, to see the beauty in the world and to see the good things. And so that's why I try to focus on, but however, he's a good balance to me to keep me grounded.
Yeah, we need that. We definitely need those guys sometimes to help keep us. I know most of you probably know this about me, but I'm ready to go do anything at any time. I'm just fly by the seat of my pants. And I need Brandon to be like, honey, that's a horrible idea. You can't just do these things that you think you can do.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so, okay, so you became a mama kind of young, and you've got a big family. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of kiddos, and especially like you said, 22 down to 8. I mean, you've got a big gap here. So what you are always, okay, Brandon and I have said this. We said, I know I can't, hold on, the puppy's barking at a chicken. Go away, chicken. I might, hold on, let me help the chicken out because now the puppy's chasing the chicken.
Oh, that was so cute, chicken and pop.
These puppies are so excited over the chickens, only they don't really know what to do with them. So they just like get them all worked up. But then the chickens are like, what the heck are you doing? And then this morning, the one chicken wants to lay her eggs now up in the bushes right by the house. But the dogs, the puppies, were trying to like chase her and play with her. And so she was like puffing up and like pecking at him like, hey, I'm trying to lay my egg. You know, go away. Anyways, they're a mess.
Oh, it's so cute.
I was trying to think of what I wanted to say. But okay, so this was, I guess I remember. So I know obviously we're not to put anybody up on that pedestal. And I don't mean in a way of idolatry, but like Brandon, we've had conversations before, and I said, you know, I think like in my head, I picture that you must be the most like, you're just all, I'm like, if anybody ever told me that you weren't patient or you weren't kind, I wouldn't believe them. I'd say, no, you're a liar. Annie is always patient and she's always kind. You just, and I know we all have our moments where, you know, we don't do what we probably should. I get that. But anytime we've ever talked or I've heard you in conversation with your kids or whatever it is, and even seeing your kids, like with the co-op stuff, and just sometimes, you know, like I've taught a couple of the classes, and I know I had Cole one time, and just you can see the work that you've done with your kids because they are so kind, so loving. I mean, your children are wonderful, and I'm not surprised because you and your husband are wonderful, but you just seem like, I mean, I feel like you could write a book on how to be just an amazing parent. So I want to like pick your brain on all of the wonderful things that you do, because I probably, oh, hold on. Now my puppy stole my phone cover. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
It's okay.
Oh, my phone is shattered.
Oh no.
Stop it. She takes my phone and eats my case. Hold on, let me see if it's my screen that's shattered or just the screen cover. Please be just the screen cover.
Yeah.
Wait. Alrighty, can you still hear me at least?
Oh, bless your heart. I'm so sorry.
Oh, hold on, I clicked the wrong button. Sorry. What is going, because my phone. No, sorry, Annie.
No, it's okay.
So she grabs, I have to take my phone out of its case so that it will fit in the holder, but she loves to chew on my little thing here that I hold it with. And so when I went to grab it, I bumped it, and the whole bottom of my phone now is completely cracked.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll deal with that later.
Oh, Heidi, I'm so sorry.
It's been one of those days, man, I tell you. It just is.
You were so sweet.
Okay, so I'll just do some editing, and we'll cut out bits and pieces.
Oh, no worries.
Me knocking everything over. Okay. Sorry, Annie.
No, oh my gosh, no. You're doing wonderful. Don't even worry.
We'll try again. Okay.
Oh.
So now that I've taken my stuff away from the puppy, so I don't know. I feel like you could write a book. And again, especially with having a lot of kiddos, I mean, you've got your hands full and you homeschool everyone. How many kids do you have in the house right now?
We have all 6 in the
all
house.
6, good. Okay, so it's awesome. So
Yes.
You've got all the kiddos there. And I feel like I don't know, you just always seem so just patient and kind and just loving in your words, even in correction. Like, what is your secret to parenting? How do you do it?
Oh. Well, honestly, it's all God, truly. It is it's opening in prayer when I start the day. Just, Lord, help guide me, help calm my spirit, help me to know what my baby needs that day, whether it's our oldest to our youngest, because I'm learning how hard it is having 2 different groupings of ages, having the older ones and having the littler ones, and then going back and forth between dealing with big things and then handling like little disputes between younger siblings and having to really shift. And with having my husband works nights, and so it always tends to happen when he's not here.
Of course, it never fails.
So, it does. And so sometimes I just have to take a moment. Like last week, it was just really overwhelming, and I just tend to go out in the backyard in the garden, and it was dark, and I just sat in my grandpa's rocking chair and just was talking to the Lord and just like, Lord, help me to see my child through your eyes. What is it that he's trying to say to me? What is it that he needs from me? Whether it's more time with me, maybe he needs me to slow down and hear him. And so I just prayed and calmed myself and went back in and was able to converse with him in a way that I was like, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, what you're feeling, but maybe this is how we need to approach this. And he was having a hard time talking to his older sister in a respectful way. So we kind of talked through that. But it is hard. It is hard to maintain harmony and peace. But it is only because of God. It is nothing of my own doing. It is just humbling myself, coming to him and saying, show me what I need to do. You gave me each of these babies for a reason, and they are their own people. They have their own path. They have their own spirits, and it is not my place to impose on them my thoughts, my views, or all of those things. They're not going to be who I want them to be. That's not fair. So I need to help nurture and guide them in the way that the Lord would have for their path. And because I want them to be strong, I want them to question, I want them to do all these things, but I've got to teach them how to channel that in the right way, because these strong girls that have these big thoughts and they're very, opinionated and think they, know everything. I want them to feel that bigness. But golly, what a great warrior for Christ if I can just help them channel that. And so that's my prayer. I hope I do. I just hope I serve God well. That's my prayer at the end of the day. If this is my only day, I just want to make him proud in how I've raised these babies and how I've cared for them. So I hope that answers your question good.
I just want to cry right now because that is in what truly, if we were to boil everything down that any of us are dealing with today, tomorrow, a year from, it doesn't matter. What other answer is there than that? I think you really summed it up perfectly, because yeah, absolutely. And it can be, so I know for me, it's hard, right? Because I get frustrated, I get overwhelmed, I'm having a bad day or whatever, right? Whatever it is that's going on. And it's so hard not to end up projecting that onto those around me, right? And I know for me, like, it's easiest to be shortest with my family, right? With my circle, right? It's one thing to answer the phone and have a nice voice and whatever, but then I'll turn around to the kids and be like, knock it off, what are y'all doing, you know?
Yes, yes.
It's so hard to, I guess, to discipline ourselves to get to that point and say, hey, that's not who I should be to you, right? I'm not seeing, and I love how you said that. I'm not seeing you through the same lens that the Lord sees them through. I'm just seeing, you know, frustration, or I don't know, whatever the situation is. And so disciplining ourselves to stop in that moment and say, hey, that's not right, you know, humble yourself and say, you know, that's not right, that's not how I should respond, or whatever, you know, and then correcting that is that's huge, that's so important.
Yes, yes. No, you're exactly right. Because our humanness will, we get overwhelmed, especially, as mamas and with homeschooling, and our brains are going, I gotta do this, I have to clean this and prepare this, and it gets overwhelming. And I think I have to remind myself that the enemy uses that. He uses the chaos to distract us, to pull us from what's important. And I have to just stop, because sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. Yeah. And then you're like, oh my gosh, he has been dragging me around all day and I've allowed it. And you just have to stop yourself and be like, okay, who cares if the house is a mess? Who cares? Like, my babies need me to snuggle right now. And it doesn't matter who comes over or if they did their lessons today, it is okay. Like you've even said too, like, if they know how to read and write, it's all good.
I really do believe that anything can be accomplished, right? We hit those things. And I know we had family over it's been a little while, but we had family over and they were asking questions and they were just so confused about homeschool. And they're like, so the state checks your curriculum? And I'm like, no, I do it. And they're like, so how do they graduate? And I'm like, I decide when they're ready. And they were just so like, how is that even possible? You know? And I'm like, it's amazing though, when you are in tune with your children day in and day out in what they're doing, what they're learning, all of this stuff. And you had kids before you didn't always homeschool, right? So there was time you went through all of this stuff, but seeing that difference of like being one-on-one with your kids every single day. Sure, maybe we didn't pull out every workbook and do everything, but there's learnings everywhere, right? Education doesn't just come from a book. It comes from life. It comes from learning how to deal with your siblings when they're making you upset and, you're not happy about what's going on. Like, those are all skills that we need for life, right? If I'm going to have a job or have to work with other human beings at some point in my life, I need to learn how to deal with that. And that starts at home. Those are all invaluable things that we have to learn.
Yes.
Can somebody let the puppy in real quick, hon? Hold on, nobody's listening to me. Hold on 1 second. I think they're all trying to be quiet so they don't disturb me, but then nobody could hear me. And the puppy, she was at the door whining. Everybody's out and everybody's in like the dining room now. And so she could see them through our door. So she's like, I need in there. I can see everybody. Okay. So looking back at just being a mom, right? From the whole time you've been a mom, what is something that I asked my mom this question, but what is something that, not saying that, we understand things happen for a reason and that's fine. But if you could look back to you as a mom, anytime prior to now, what's something you wish you wouldn't have done?
Oh, goodness. Probably, I actually have asked our older daughters this question, and our son too, and Coley, kind of to gather insight from them, because I have this unique opportunity to parent and mother these littler ones. So I've asked our older ones, what is like do you feel like you had a good childhood? Were there things that I could have done differently? How could I have been a better mother to you? And they all are just so sweet and just want to say only good things. But there was one thing that our oldest daughter, Grace, when she was younger, her Mimi passed away, which is my husband's mama. And she said, Mama, I wish that you wouldn't have made everything okay. She said, I wish that you would have allowed yourself to feel the sorrow, because we also lost Haven at the same time. They were literally months apart from passing. Wow. So it was just a really overwhelming time. And I just wanted so badly to keep normalcy in our home and for them to feel like everything was okay, everything was going to be okay, and to be the light for them.
Sure.
But she's shown me that I needed to come to her more and be like, what are you feeling? It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling, and allow her that opportunity to share, which I know I went and we're like, are you okay? Do you need to talk?
Right.
But I didn't pull it from her. And I think that would have really helped her if I would have just really had her talk about the raw feelings that she was feeling and just pulled it from her. And I'm just not good at that. I want to make everything okay and make everyone feel better. And I'm not good at pulling stuff out of people or making them talk. And if they don't want to talk, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. But sometimes as a mother, I wish that I would have had that intuition to know that she needed me to be that. And I can't go back, but I really appreciated her honesty, because it's things that she's dealing with now. And so I try to be present now and really hear her and allow her to tell me things, even if they hurt, even if the words are hurtful. I try to hear them, learn from them, grow from them, and do better. So like when our younger ones recently, when their grandpa was sick, I tried to really ask them, is there, if you need to talk, let's talk. If you have any questions, if you're scared or fearful or uncertain about what granddaddy's going through, let's talk, let's share. Don't be ashamed. No question is crazy. And so I try to be more open. And then with our next daughter, with Faith, I wish that I would have homeschooled sooner. Yeah. Because she was crying out for help, and I didn't realize. She was when she went to kindergarten, it was really hard for her to separate. And she would cry and I would cry, and I just didn't want to leave her. But my family had just drilled in me that homeschooling was not a choice, was not an option, was not okay. And so I thought that was the only way, was I had to send her to school. And I tried to always be there and help comfort her. But then first grade came and second grade, and she still was crying and sad. And I should have just pulled her then, because I think that would have really helped her self-esteem, her just a lot of things. So I just regret those things in mothering that I didn't do.
I think that's hard, because I think for most of us, like I know when we started homeschooling Travis, we knew nobody that homeschooled. Like my mom technically homeschooled my brothers for a little bit when they were like middle school age. But she was also a teacher, and they got in trouble a lot. So it kind of seemed like it made sense. Yes. But we were kind of the same way. We didn't really know of anyone that homeschooled. It really wasn't like a mainstream thing, a dozen years ago. And we kind of were in the same thing with him, where he just, it was hard. And every day it just seemed like there were so many things like that. And for a while we did the same thing too, where we just kept pushing him like, hey, it's your only option. It's what you do. And then, we kind of got to that point too, where we're just like, but why is
Yeah,
this the only option? I feel like it doesn't have to be, and
yeah,
whatever, but it's hard when you feel like you don't have any other option but to put your kids in public school, or whatever, even if you don't agree with it.
yeah.
And I think that while, like, my mom was supportive, she it's not that she wasn't, but I think a lot of times, I know I get messages from people who say that they can't homeschool because they don't have like a support group. And I think you absolutely can, especially now. I mean, now with the internet, I mean, you can find so many. It's totally different than it used to be. But
Yes,
even without having a local support group, I think that the family unit becomes so much stronger when you
yes,
homeschool, that it's like we're our own support group. We've
right.
got it.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And that's the way it should be, I think. There's
I
something
think so too.
really beautiful and organic when these babies are each other's best friends. It's
Yeah.
the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I love that. I mean, you must see it too with having the age gaps, but
Yes.
even, we've had a couple awkward areas where, especially once our oldest started to get, because he's 6 years older than the next sibling. So we've got a
Yeah.
little bit of a gap. And so we've hit a couple times where you can tell it's like they're kind of growing apart. You know what I mean? But then I feel like, oops, the sun's moving. I'm getting brighter. But then I feel like it might be awkward for a minute, but then they work it out and their
Yeah.
relationship grows and changes through that. And that's so neat. So I have to ask you, what is, for those of us who deal with sibling conflicts, which I
Yeah.
think everyone does,
For
what
sure.
are like, how do you handle that? How do you handle, I mean, I don't know. I feel like your house is just always perfect and peaceful, and like birds chirping like Mary Poppins or something. But I mean, when kids argue, when they fight, when because that's the one thing. Sometimes when everybody's homeschooled all the time, they get bored of playing with one another. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we get that anyways, and they're like, I don't want to play. I have nothing to play, and I'm like, what do you mean you have nothing to play? You have a pool, you have a trampoline, you have toys, you have books, you're like all the things, and they're like, nope, we have nothing.
Yes, yes. Oh no, we have that too. And we have a little bit of a dynamics with having the older ones, especially the girls are like, why is it never quiet? I'm like, oh, I tried so hard. I'll try to give, especially with Gracie, she just finished college and she is going to be starting her master's degree. And
Wow.
so we've talked about, okay, what can I do to help like foster your need for, I mean, because you're older, you don't want to always hear the basketball
Yeah.
bouncing outside your bedroom door. Or so I try to kind of accommodate those things where we're a little quieter during, when she's studying, or so I'll take them outside and play, or we'll go to the park, or we'll go out to my mom and dad's. They live about an hour away, so we'll go and let her have the whole day of peace. But then it also opens up the opportunity of we're just a family, and this is the way it is too. Like they're little and they have a right to play. This is their home. So we've got to work a way to respect one another. And so we do the best that we can in that way. And whenever they're arguing, the older ones don't ever argue, I don't think, anymore. They're like the best of friends. And if they do disagree, they have learned how to work it out themselves, which is like really beautiful. And
Job well done.
oh my goodness, yeah, they talk it out. We never go to bed angry at one another. If we have to stay up till 3 a.m, we are staying up and we're gonna talk it out and figure out a compromise. Even if we don't agree, we've got to listen, because if the other person feels a certain way, their feelings are valid. Like whether we agree with them or not, they're real to them and they feel them. And we have to respect that. And as long as it's not harming anyone else, we've got to figure out a way that we can work through it. And so with our younger ones, we work a lot on how we talk to each other. never letting someone leave your presence sad, because our words are very powerful. And so our son Gage is on the spectrum, and so sometimes his words come out, he doesn't mean them to be hurtful at all, because he has the sweetest heart. But we're working very much on how what you say, you look at their body language. If what you said, all of a sudden they're like happy, but then they seem solemn, then that means something you said made them feel a certain way. And so then you kind of backtrack. Okay, what did I say? Did I hurt their feelings? And if you don't know what it is, then you can ask them, I noticed that when I said this, you seemed sad. What can you help me understand what it was that I said that could have hurt you? And that just shows that you're trying to understand them and that you're showing compassion. And if you go back in your mind and you understand, like, oh, wow, I shouldn't have said that, then that's an opportunity for you to say, I am so sorry that I said that. That was not my intentions. And so we try to work a lot on communication, because he's going to be a husband someday, a father someday, Lord willing. And I want him to know how to communicate and how to read people and how to read their body language, because it is not worth, anything you have to say is not worth hurting another human being. So we try to work a lot on communicating. I try to be very aware of how they're communicating to each other. So if I'm able to hear and I'm like, oh, maybe that wasn't so nice, I'll be like, Gigi, are you being kind? Or Bella, are you being kind? Is there maybe another way we could say that? And so just kind of using those teachable moments. It's a lot of work in the moment, but I think it pays off, and it only helps them. It's only makes it where they'll have a better, fruitful life if they learn to communicate and care for one another.
That is, and you're so right. And that's what it is. I know for us, I mean, I come from a family of mainly boys. Like there's not many girls in any area of my family. And so I was used to pretty much my whole life. I mean, I had a few close like girlfriends, but I was usually almost always with guys. Like that's just what I always known. And so now God's hilarious and gave us 3 daughters. And I'm like, no one on either side of our family has 3 girls. Like this is so crazy that we have all of these girls. Like it's very rare in both of our families. And especially with them getting older, you know, I did some very typical, you know, girl things, but not really also. Like I just wasn't that way. And so now with some of these like girl attitudes and things coming up, which I understand it's part of the process, but I know for me trying to figure out how to do that process. Cause I know for me, I hear things and I'm just like, hey, everybody knock it off. Like I'll put you all in corners all day long. I don't know how to deal with that. Yes. Like you can't do that. And so I know for me, I struggle with consistency. Like I know that sitting down and talking about it and digging into the root cause and all of that is what we need to do. But then I feel like some days it's so hard. There's so many of them and there's one of me and there's like a million things going on. And I'm like, we talked about this yesterday. Do I really have to talk about it again today? Like it's just hard in the moment because it is a lot of work, you know, to do all of that. I need to just clone like, how do we do all the things?
Absolutely. And sometimes you really can't talk about it. Like sometimes it's not a good time, or like you said, we just talked about this. I don't know that I'm in the right mood to talk about it again. And so sometimes it just means everyone just kind of taking a break. Like, hey, why don't like shifting what we're doing? Or, and like you said about when they get bored, I have found that what I'll do is over time, I have a box in our laundry room, and they don't really know that I keep these things. At least mommy's workshop. And so I have this little box, and I'll collect things from the dollar store, or I'll order something online or something, and I just keep them in there for those days where they're just all like really like they're being good. They just don't know what to do. And especially in the times that we're in where we can't go as many places or even financially, like for us, we, like you guys, we have to be really creative with fun stuff to do. And so
it's expensive to try to go in. I mean, even simple little things. I'm like, we can't afford to do that. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just every now and then when that happens, I'll pull out something from there. So it could be like Play-Doh or maybe a new little Lego set or a board game or something like that. And I'll just pull that out and we spend time together. It changes the shift of everything and it seems to help. We also come up with like crazy traditions. So we have like a smorgasbord, which is where we buy like a new board game and have s'mores. And they just get so excited. Love it. Or we do hodgepodge night where everyone picks out of a hat something like breakfast, food, a drink, a snack, and then they get to pick what they're gonna make. And so that's what we have for supper. And it's just little things like that, but they're really fun and not always expensive to do. And
that's awesome. I love those ideas.
Oh, thank you.
Those are fun. That is such a neat idea because you're right. Just those little things, that you can pull out. I know I've told parents this before, especially when they're first maybe taking their kids out of public school and transitioning to homeschool and they're struggling and everybody's freaking out. I go, put everything away and go have ice cream for dinner. You know what I mean? It's like little things like that you can do. And it makes such a big difference to just say, you know what, we're just not going to, everybody's frustrated or upset or just bored or whatever it is, like you said, that's going on. And so having those fun little things, that's really cool. I love those ideas.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. And so what, like, if you were to give advice to a new mom or just, another mom or whatever, looking back on all the things that you've learned in your, 20 plus years of being a mama, what would you say would be some of your biggest advice that you would give to someone?
Oh, goodness. Probably my biggest advice would be to just love them with every fiber of your being and love every part of them. Love their mess, love their quirkiness, love just like I said, see them through the lens of God because He adores them. He created them the way they are because whether He gave them a quirky personality or a curiosity or whatever the case may be, He thought those things were beautiful. And for us to be able to appreciate those things and just don't be so hard on ourselves. I would tell a new mama, or any mama, don't be too hard on yourself. You're doing the best that you can. Start your day in prayer and just ask the Lord to lead you and be willing, like truly let go and be willing and let the Lord guide you. Let's see, not be so hard on yourself, because I think that's probably one of those big things as a mama. We always worry, am I doing enough? Does my baby feel loved? Do they feel cared for? Am I making the right decisions for them? So just, I think as long as your heart is in the right place and you're doing the best that you can, we're gonna mess up. And our only prayer is that our babies will do better than us and that we're just doing the best we can and just love them. Because if you hold on to them, that's another thing, hold on to them. Don't always just put them in front of something or send them out to a friend's house or like spend time with them, get to know them, play basketball with them if that's their interest, or just really get to know them and show them that they are worth something. They are a blessing, they are of value, and that you wished for them and they are a dream come true. Because I imagine that that would be the most amazing thing, to have a mama tell you that you were wanted, that you were prayed for and you are a gift. Like that, I think would be the most amazing thing.
And that is so amazing, because I know, especially as our kids get older, and our oldest, he's 16, but even still, as he's getting older, learning to be interested in the things that they're interested in is so neat, because there's so many things that myself, like putting my desires first, I would never care about some of these things, right? I wouldn't go and pursue learning about this or that, or whatever. And it is so easy, especially being busy or whatever, to just kind of put some of those things off, and okay, that they're into it, but you just let it be their thing. And that's just kind of it. You don't go any further. But like you said, I don't know how to play basketball, but if that's what you're into, I can go out and I can do something.
Yes.
And getting into those things, and you think about that of, one day they won't be our babies in our homes, right? You lose every day. I feel like you lose a little bit of control, right out of your hands. And when they're little, you dress them and you do all the things, and then they get older and they do their own things, but when you foster that relationship with them, right? You work hard to build the skills that they need, not just the knowledge, but the skills. Like you said, being able to communicate with one another. That's a tool you're going to use your entire life. Heck, that's far more important than reading a novel, or writing an essay. You'll use that every day in every situation, but really fostering relationships with our children. I think we so often look at discipline techniques and routines, and which those all have their place, right? But is our focus on fostering our relationship and understanding that it's not just kid mom, but each individual kid has a different special relationship with you, mom. It's not just a one size fits all.
Right, absolutely. Yes, because like you said, if with where was my brain? My brain just escaped me.
Because we're moms and we have to keep up with all the things.
Oh my heavens, I know, like my husband will remember things from when we were younger, and I was like, we did that? And he was like, yeah, and I was like, did I like it? Was it fun? He's like, yes. Your favorite. Yes. Oh no. One thing too is that I have learned now that our older ones are older, is because you have to relinquish this. It's so much easier when your babies are little. They listen to you. They trust you. They follow your guidance. And when they get older, they have their own thoughts about things and their own desires. And sometimes it's not what you would want them to do. And it scares you as a mama and as a believer, because we just want them to stay on that path so that we know they're safe. And I've learned that I just have to just pray for them and relinquish that control and really trust God, because He created them. He knows them. He knows their heart better than anyone, and He will take care of them. I just have to pray, continue to be a good example for them, continue guiding them in a loving way, because I cannot force them. I have to allow them to have their journey, just like I had mine. I am not where I am when I was 20, I didn't have the same thoughts or the same wisdom or whatever, and I'll be much better in 10 more years. But I think remembering that too, like not being so scared because I'll see something like, oh my gosh, why are they watching that or listening to that? It's like, what have I done? Wasn't it good enough, mama? And it's like, we all kind of go through that, and we have to trust as long as we're praying and we're keeping them as close as we can and guiding them. And because our girls want to hear what we have to say, like they care about our thoughts, which is a blessing that they even care. So that needs to be celebrated, that they do come to us like, Mama, what do you think about this? They may not do it, but at least they came to me and they shared. And I'm so thankful for that, and so thankful that they know that no matter what, I will never be upset at them or turn from them, or they have my heart forever, no matter what they do. And I think that's important, that they know that. We just have to trust. And I think that's one of the hardest things. I think we don't realize that I always thought I trusted the Lord, but he shows me where I don't, where I lack.
Well, because it's easy to say that we trust God, but it's really hard to literally trust God.
Yes.
I don't know. I really appreciate all of that you shared, Annie. I really, really, truly do, because I think that it's so simple. It's so pure. It's so straightforward, but it can be hard, right? It can be hard when you're in the midst of the trenches, right? The kids and all of the things, and you're trying to do a good job, and life is hard, and all of that. It can be so hard sometimes to see just the simplicity of listen, be there, have fun, be consistent, right? Put in the time to truly do it, because this is that window in time that we have our kids, and we can teach and do what we can, for them, and then get to that point where we trust the Lord to pull them through whatever journey they have, but one that glorifies him in the end, whatever that may look like. I know you wouldn't say your life has been this perfect picture, we've all gone through our things and had our stuff, be it whoever's to blame for what happened, we all go through our bad stuff, but your testimony is one that can drop me to my knees at any point of any day, but to see that no matter what the world has thrown at you, you bring glory to God, you love, you're kind. You just embody all of that, I don't know, maybe I'll make t-shirts that say, be a little more Annie today.
So sweet to me.
But you really are. And I just, again, I just thank you. I thank you for sharing with us, even though it's totally out of your comfort zone. But I thank you for being such an encouragement to all of those who know you. And obviously immensely to what you pour into your own family. But you really, truly are such an encouragement to me. And I thank you so much for just being my friend and sharing the thing.
Oh, Heidi, I feel so blessed. Like, I know I've told y'all this before, but I really prayed for y'all. I didn't know your name at the time, but you were an answer to prayer. You came at a time when my soul needed it. And y'all are such a blessing, more than words. Like, you are a true gift to me, and I'm so honored. So honored to have you as my friends and my family, and I really mean that. Y'all are just my heart, and I'm so thankful.
It is amazing. I love seeing God at work, right? And you see that with all of these things and connections, and just, watching him do all the things he does is just, I don't think I'll ever grow tired of it, through the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? All of the things. It's just amazing when you get to see that. Sometimes you can be going through stuff and you're like, God, where are you? Like, why aren't you doing something? Why haven't you stepped in yet? Or whatever. Yeah. But then you look around and you see him in so many different ways, working through all of the stuff, even the difficult stuff, even the hard stuff, all of the things you come to see, even the little pieces, of that grace and promise that you see there. And it is so comforting.
Oh, it is. Yes, definitely.
Oh, Annie, thank you so much. I'm so glad you did this with me.
Oh, I promise. Anything you ask of me, I'll do.
Don't say that.
Pray.
Brandon knows that might get you in trouble. He's like, oh, don't give her any ideas.
Oh no, I truly mean it. Anything you need from me, I will do. If you ever needed me in person, I would come. Just whatever.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then yes, I need you in person right here. I'm almost there.
Oh, it would be a pleasure.
Oh, we would have so much fun. I know the kids would love it too. And it's so cool getting
I would love
this.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
I would love it. I would just pick up that Ollie and just hug her. She's just so sweet.
Oh my God. Well, one day it's going to happen one day. I do believe that. So be it here or eternity, that's okay. I know it'll happen.
It will.
Well, Annie, I won't hold you up all day because I know we could just sit here and go through this all day. But I thank you so much for this, and go and enjoy your family, and you guys all have a wonderful day. But I really do thank you for doing this with us, and just being an encouragement, because I know this encourages me, and I know it's going to encourage other moms as well. I do.
Oh, I hope so. I pray that everything I said made sense, or that it just maybe help somebody, or just encouraged, or however the Lord will use it. That was my prayer.
I think it's funny because with my mom and then with Marina, when we did hers, I think they both said, oh my gosh, I was all over the place. And I said, no, it's okay, because it's all moms who are watching this. So we're all doing the same thing and being interrupted 1,000 times.
Absolutely. That's our language. We understand that.
Moms have got this. We're like, oh no, we're
Yes.
good. We're right there with you. It's okay.
Absolutely. Oh, I loved watching both of them, by the way. They were both so great.
Aren't
Did
they
such
awesome?
a wonderful job. Yes.
I think this has been fun. I think that I might have to do this more often because I have really enjoyed this.
I'm thinking so too. I think this has been so wonderful, and I pray that you'll want to call more often. Like, this is really nice. I would love it.
Okay, good. Well, then we will absolutely do this more. So it wasn't super scary. It wasn't super awful. And
Well, I was like, Heidi's so good at making everyone feel calm and like at ease. So I knew that I might be all jittery, but I knew that you would make me feel better, and you would ask a question. You would get me to talk. So I knew it would be okay.
well, the next thing you know, you're just having a conversation with a friend, and it really isn't that big of a deal. I promise.